You know that old man that sat over there?
He moved to Montana.
Huh?
He moved to Montana.
He moved to Montana. Gosh, he's been sitting out there a long time. What did he move up there for? For family?
I'm not sure.
I just wondering.
No,
Just wondering.
he got a pretty good spot there.
He what?
It's a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
They helped me pay a bill out of it.
He looked like he was 100 years old. How in the world did he sit out there all the time? Sit out there in the cold? I guess some people can't. Does he have family in Montana?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I just wondered.
That's just what I was told too. I don't know that.
Yeah. All right. All right. We always read to you some of our letters, some of our comments on the internet. We get YouTube comments, and this is before we start because we are on TV in about 250 towns and cities, and we're on the internet 24 hours a day around the clock. And everywhere there's internet, which would be all over the world, so we get letters and phone calls and what have you from around the country and around the world. And we got an email from Ciro Izzo. And Ciro is in Italy. And he comments from time to time. Hi, Jim. Please help me. I'm confused. Could you tell me who the guys of whom Paul speaks in 2 Thessalonians 1 and 8? Them that know not God. Well, if they know not God, it's vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. They that obey not the gospel of Christ. Is this a Jewish parallelism? No, it's talking about everybody when he comes back in flaming fire, taking vengeance on all those that know not God and that obey not the gospel. Is he speaking of the elect or the vessels of wrath? The elect are not going to be destroyed by Jesus at his coming back. Not at all. The elect are going to be taken out to meet the Lord in the air. Who are the guys of whom John speaks in 1 John 2:28, saying that when he shall appear, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before him at his coming? We. The only ones that are not going to be ashamed at his coming is the vessels of mercy. He uses the we. Does this pronoun include the elect? It is only the elect. Will there be something we must be ashamed when the Lord returns? Not if we are looking forward to his coming. Who are the guys of whom Paul speaks in Ephesians 5:6, where he says, because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. He's talking about those that do not obey God. Here he uses the word sons, or they, i.e. the elect. The ones that's going to receive the punishment of God is the non-elect, and the elect are going to receive his mercy. And then he says in number 4 question, what does Paul mean when he writes in Romans 14:10, we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ? We're being judged right now. The word judge, krino, means to decide guilty or innocent. The word justify, dikao, means to render innocent. Compared to 2 Corinthians 5:10, where he said we must appear before the judgment seat of Christ that everyone may receive the things done in the body. You're not saved by works, but we are saved by working faith. So if Christ is working in you, you're elect, and if he's not working in you, you're not elect. According to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. Blessings. Ciro Izzo in Italy. We love you, Ciro. Keep writing to us. Then I can't go into depth in a lot of these because I could preach for 2 hours just on one question. Hi, Jim. This is from Jean Lavier, Houston. I understand when you say you get depressed by the way the world doesn't want to hear or learn about Christ. Much of this stems from the false teachers that lead people astray. That's exactly what it is. I don't like preachers. They lie. They're lying to the American public, while patting them on the back with one hand and lifting their wallet with the other. Thank you, Gene. That's right. All the while feeding them false doctrine that leads them down the road, broad roads to destruction. Thank you for earnestly contending for the faith. I get depressed because you're supposed to get depressed. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says we're in the narrow way. That is the word, the tribulation way. And if you're in the tribulation way, it's depressing. When the world is trying to kill you and you're trying to tell them the truth. And if we're predestined to be like Christ, and we are, and what was he like? He was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we're to be men and women of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we will be. Because with much grief, with much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. The smarter you get, the more sorrowful you get, the older you get, the wiser you get, the more grieved and sad you get. And that's supposed to happen to us. Do you think Peter was saying, crucify me upside down, whoopee, I'm having fun? No. When they were cutting Paul's head off, you think he said, oh, so give me another slice of that one more time. No. He wasn't having fun. He said, I am miserable. I have a desire to depart and be with Christ, which is far better, but it's more necessary for the church that I remain. I know how Paul felt. When you get old like me, you're 78, your body's falling apart. Mine's been falling apart this week. And then people are fighting you besides when you're trying to help them. It's kind of like you're over there trying to pull somebody out of the ditch, and while you're doing it, they got their knife out stabbing you in the hand. Well, what are you doing? I'm trying to help you. That's very depressing. Note the void of the solid food of the Word leading down to that broad road. The key thing I emphasize, becoming normalized. The normalization is like other perversions of the true gospel and neglect of teaching the full counsel of God. See the link below, for instance, of fruit of false doctrine left unchecked. I thank God you call things that are as they are. Kenneth Copeland, Billy Graham, etc. Particularly against those who pervert Romans 4:17. Yeah, that's calling things that be not is not saying Cadillac, Cadillac, come on, I get a Cadillac. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Calling things be not is raising the dead. You can't call things that be not as though they were unless you can resurrect the dead. And that's what it's about. Got an email from Chris Jackson, Reno, Nevada. What is marriage? Well, that's coupling a man and a woman legally in the eyes of God, and not only legally in the eyes of God, legally in the eyes of the world. You don't want to bring reproach upon the name of Christ. We're not supposed to be chambering. That's moving in together. Over there in the 13th chapter of Romans. Moving in together without some kind of marriage agreement in the eyes of the world, so we will not bring reproach upon the world. There are no officials for Adam and Eve besides the Lord who instituted and implemented marriage. What do you mean there's not? You got the marriage vows there. Your desire will be to your husband, and you'll bear babies, and you will go out in the world, and you will plow the land and earn your living by the sweat of your brow. Now, do we have that marriage vow down? That was the marriage vow. People say, no marriage vow. There certainly was. Chris, you goofed on that one. We love you, though. Keep watching. And then I got phone calls coming out my ears. Well, maybe not out my ears, but somewhere. I got a call from Frank Goebel. He's in Savannah, Tennessee. Been watching, loves the message, blind in one eye. Had a stroke, 2,300 in the other. 2,400 is total blindness. Loves the message. Says send me the tapes so he can listen to them on his TV. He's in a car accident with brain surgery, brain covered in nerves, wrapped wrapped around the optic nerve, 2300 in the right eye, 63 years old. Well, it's a little personal. I'll just leave that alone. All right, we love you, brother. And then we got a call from Mary McDonald. She's in Cincinnati, Ohio. She's 67. Oh, I got to tell you, I had one of the best witnesses I've ever had today. I was sending a lady down in Louisiana some money. You can send Walmart to Walmart. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You can go for $9 or $8. You can send $100 cross country, and they get it in 10 minutes. And so I do a lot of this when I send to the needy. I'll send Walmart to Walmart. It's a real quick way to get somebody money. And I walked into the store, and they had these little poles wrapped like candy canes. And I was walking up there, and this lady, probably about my age, about 75, 78, something like that, walked up. She said, "You ready for this Christmas?" I said, "Ma'am, I don't celebrate Christmas." She said, "You don't? Why not?" I said, "Well, I found out it's paganism. It's Roman Catholicism." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." She, "Can you tell me about it?" I said, "Yeah, I sure can." I said, "Christmas is Roman Catholic." And I said, "It was against the law to celebrate Christmas 300 years ago in America. Did you know that?" She said, "No, I didn't know that." "That's interesting. Tell me some more." And I said, "Well, the Puritans were called, all these different families in Europe, they were called Walden's families, and I named off the Huguenots and so forth." And I said, "They were slaughtered by the Roman Catholic Church." She said, "In England?" I said, "Well, England and all over Europe for 700 years, and they killed 60 million of them. So they moved to America and said, we want to be in this new land and we'll make laws to outlaw Christmas." And they did. She said, "Really? Well, tell me some more about that." And I kept on talking to her, and she said, "That's really interesting." And I took a DVD out and handed it to her. She said, "I'll watch this. That's very interesting." It was just like not one word of objection, not 1 ounce of objection, just like she just sucking it in. Her name was Judy Meadows, I think, and probably in my age range. And I was just, gosh, give me a hard time, you know. She wouldn't say nothing negative. She says, "I'm going to watch this."
She looks old. She's not.
Huh?
I know her. She just looks old. She's not.
Well, she looked my age.
She looks it, but she's not, Jim. She's a little bit older than me.
Oh, is she?
I'm serious.
Her name's Judy?
Her name's Judy Meadows. I know her. She
Yeah.
lived in my mom's house
Oh, really?
before my parents lived.
Well, she seemed to like the truth. You ever see her?
No, but she's very excited. I believe that she will probably show up here if you talk to her.
She's what?
Excited. She's a very interesting person.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. That tickles me to death that you know who she is.
Yeah.
If you see her, tell her to come over here and visit us. Okay?
She really is young, though. But to think
She didn't look at me.
78, 78, she looks it from tanning beds.
Yeah.
Enough said that.
From tanning
Tanning
beds.
did that to her.
Ruined her skin from tanning beds. Okay. Well, yeah, you know everybody in town, don't you? Just about.
I don't know if that's good
He
or bad.
does everywhere you go. He'll say hi. They'll say, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Who is that?" "Oh, that guy runs a concrete thing over here." That's Vic. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate it. Then James Saratella in Chicago. He's a young guy in a nursing home. He wanted a DVD player, so we sent him one so we could watch the DVDs. John Cisak in Macedonia, Ohio, loves the message. Nancy Cruz. No, wait a minute. That's station. That's something for... No, this is... She saw us on TV in Prospect Heights, Illinois. She loves Predestination, God Does Not Love Everybody, Christmas and the Beast, and The Narrow Way. She wants something on all that. Then we got a call from Bill Gandy out in California. He's trying to help us do some internet work. Ricky in Memphis. Ricky just loves the truth. He struggles with these things. And Gracina Allen in Columbus, Ohio. She can't read, but she wants some tapes. Linda Chapman in Washington, D.C. called. And then she said, "You just blew my face off. A big thank you." And she said, "When you preached on Isaiah's, the Old Testament, Paul, I never heard that before." And that's the truth. And Paul is the New Testament Isaiah. And then Cynthia Powell, Cincinnati, Ohio, called. She wants 3670. Sheila Woodson is one of our regular listeners. You really inspire me. She wants to settle the McClintock and Strong. She's been watching 2 years. Robin and Peter down in Amarillo, Texas. They're going through some real hard times, and they just called to say they loved us. Derwin Walker in Minnesota called. He said, "You have taught me so much." I appreciate that, Derwin. Love you, brother. Jerry Depron, our ever faithful brother down in Louisiana, our Cajun brother, used to live up here. Come back up and live with us. We love you. Becky Martin, talked to her again. She's down in, I talked to her today. She's the one I sent some money to today. I sent her $100. We got another $100 for her. She was washed away in that flood down there and didn't have anything left. I had 3 or 4 people washed away in that flood. Grace Allen, Columbus, Ohio. Robin Peters, I just mentioned that. Ricky Collins, Annette and Roger, 901 area code, that's Memphis. Sandra Dean called. She called me about every day or two, and she's over in Memphis, and she is just wrestling so hard with this water baptism versus blood baptism, and she really is learning. She said, "Jim, I'm learning so much." I talk to her probably 3 or 4 times a week. Elizabeth Taylor, she's not the one from Hollywood. We hope not, because she's been dead a long time. Now Elizabeth is a dear, sweet little black lady up in Dayton, Ohio, and she, believe it or not, she used to play bass for some group up there in Ohio. She loves the truth. Her daughter's got cancer, dying in the hospital. She's got a world of problems. We send her money every month. And then somebody, Brown in Chicago, Illinois, got your address, couldn't understand your first name. I've got a call from Alexander Boyting in Ghana, West Africa. Willoughby Delafield in Washington, D.C. loves the message. Elizabeth Thompson in Florida. Rosie Jackson in Washington, D.C. Amanda Meadows, talked to her. She's out in Murfreesboro. Jacqueline Yancey, Madison, Wisconsin. Harry Moss wanted to know about the bottomless pit. He's in Jersey City, New Jersey. Frida Rainwater in Marion, Arkansas. And Vernon Chapman from somewhere. And then Rob Hill Carter, Raleigh, North Carolina. George Brown, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Jamie Perkins, Philadelphia, PA. Thank you for researching. When I first time I ever heard these things. Patrick Briley, Oklahoma City. James Oates in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, I can't remember which one he is. Carl Alexander, Washington, D.C. They all see us on TV or on the internet. Dexter Wood, he's in Weymars, Maryland, I think it is. And then Van Harrell in Kodak, Tennessee. And Frank Nicolosi up in Massachusetts, and Jacqueline Yancey in Madison, Wisconsin. That'll be enough reading. That's a lot of phone calls that we get. And thank the Lord for that. Got a few letters here I just don't have time to read. Put this over here. If I seem like I'm in the twilight zone, I probably am. I took a bunch of prednisone today. One guy called me and rebuked me about taking prednisone. That's a deadly drug. You're ignorant. Prednisone is a steroid. It reduces inflammation. They put you on prednisone or a steroid as soon as you go in the hospital, that IV, that's what it's for. It reduces inflammation. It's not a addictive drug. It doesn't make you a nervous wreck like this, but while it's doing that, and while you're all nervous and talking real fast, you're getting well. Ain't that great? It does have some reactions to it, but I'd rather be breathing and being nervous than not be able to breathe. So it's not an addictive drug like this guy called me and said, that's an addictive drug. I said, no, it's not. You're ignorant. They put everybody, when you have heart surgery like I had, they put you on steroid. It reduces inflammation in your body. Do you know that inflammation is all the problem we have with illness? When something swells up, whether it's in your heart, your lungs, your bronchial tubes, it's inflammation. And God told Israel, I will strike you with inflammation when you're disobedient to me. What that means is disease. You got to get rid of the inflammation. So Bob, I'm going to call his name out, because he'll call me and tell me how much he loves me and how much I helped him. And he'll call back and say, you're on drugs and you're this. Bob, you're dumb. You got to be on some kind of steroid when you have inflammation in your body. It's just, people are funny, aren't they? I'm an expert. What you're doing is you're on a drug that will kill you, on that steroid. Well, go tell all those heart patients over there in the hospital, okay? Tell them to unplug themselves. I don't like taking prednisone. It makes me a basket case. But I get well, right? It's like if you take that simvastatin. Well, that's a statin drug. That's to reduce the cholesterol. I had triple bypass heart surgery. I got to take it every day. My cardiologist said, you take that simvastatin, you could be lived a ripe old age. We'll never have that. Did you know, gosh, here I'm rambling again. Did you know you can take a little child, 7 or 8 years old, have them tested and find out if they're going to have heart disease, and you can start treating them now and they'll never have a problem with it. They can find out if they're prone to heart disease when they're 8, 9 years old.
Technology's something nowadays.
It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm going to do what the doctor says. I asked my doctor, why do people go back in for a second surgery within 6 or 7 years? He said they won't take their statin drug. That's it. He said no other reason. They just won't take it. Well, I'm religious about it. I take it every night. And I want to live a long time, even though I don't like the preachers in the world. I want to live a long time and preach against them. Right? All right. Remember our needy people. We got a lot of needy. And we send them money. We can't send everybody all the money we want to. $50 is really encouraging to somebody that makes $450 a month and have to live on it. Very encouraging. And some ladies are making, some of them, I don't know how in the world they live. I feel so sorry for them. They can't repair anything. So we'll send them $100 each month. We're going to keep doing this. If you want to help these needy believers, talked to Amanda Meadows yesterday. She is the sweetest, dearest lady out here in Murfreesboro. I love Amanda. She's just about 58, 60, somewhere around there. Dear little black lady, just been just the kindest, tenderest, gentlest person. Wouldn't raise her voice to anybody. And boy, she's raising her 4 grandkids, and she can't do that, but she's having to. And she's a real sweetheart. Love her. She needs our help, and we send her money every month. But if you want to help the needy believers, make your check to Grace and Truth and put needy on the bottom. And we are supporting our missionaries. One of them's right here in the blue. And where are all the kids? Huh?
At home.
At home. Okay. Scott's babysitting.
They're getting ready for school tomorrow.
Huh?
They're getting ready for school tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, it gives you a rest, though, doesn't it?
I can focus.
You can focus.
Learn something.
Well, we've got four little ones, and Scott and Dee, and they meet here every Tuesday night, right here. Scott preaches in Spanish, and the only people that can understand is Dee and do the kids still understand? Okay. So he's got a congregation anyway. So he can really point it at them, can he? I hope that Abby understood this morning was not a condemnation, it was a great testimony.
I think she did, yeah.
It was an unbelievable testimony, because I told her after church, if you know how hard it is, I don't want any of these people that are 50 years old saying, well, I just don't know I'm in my sin. Well, she knows. Why is it you don't know? You know? When she said, it's hard, I said, thank you. It's astounding. And grown people will make excuse for being in their sin. Say, well, I didn't know it was a sin. You didn't. Well, she knows. Ask her. That's what I'm going to start saying. Somebody says, is this a sin? I'll say, let's ask Abby. I hope maybe that'll encourage her. You know what I'm saying? She's a sweet girl. All right. Well, let's... where are you going?
I went and got coffee.
All right.
Bill, I met the preacher at Center Point Baptist Church, and he watches you and says you are very interested, and he learns from you, and he agrees about Christmas. But I said, are you teaching?
Who is he?
His name is Mike. I can't remember his last name, but it's Mike, and he's the preacher at Center Point Baptist, up on the little hill right there by.
So,
he told me he watches you. I told him I came here, son.
well, if we're reaching some preachers and they're learning, that it's good.
It is very true. He admitted to watching you and said he watches you a lot and said he learns.
Oh, good.
But does not teach it. Preaches it. But I'll say, okay.
Oh, well, he ain't going to preach it. If he preaches, he's going to run all his people off.
Right.
Centerport Baptist Church is a general Baptist church. It's a free will Baptist church is what it is. How in the world can they believe in free will if he watches me? I don't know.
He's watching you, though. He said he did. He wouldn't have said it. He said it.
Well, let's go to the Lord in prayer. And Rusty, won't you turn around here and pray for us, okay?
Well, I thank you for this chance to come and hear your word. Be with those that are down and out and challenge us, Lord, to be doers of your word, not just hearers. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Thank you for Jim and all those that make this ministry possible. We ask this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Well, Vic, that's encouraging. Thank you for telling me that.